interview differ from the other one?
Well, you'll find out, won't you?
Oh, okay.
Before we started the camera, Sid Couchey said, how does this interview differ from the other? If you've known me long enough to know I've never done anything alike the same time, because there's a good reason for that. I forget what I did before, ask the same questions, go through the same routine, and act like, wow, this is something brand new and wonderful today. Hey, we have, I don't know when you're going to be watching this on television, because that's the way we are. We just put things on from time to time. But we're recording this at that wonderful North Country Center for the Cultural Arts here in downtown Plattsburgh, formerly the old bank on the corner of Brinkerhoff and Marion Streets, the Merchants Bank, which is now a cultural center for the arts and such a pleasant place to come into. In the last couple of weeks, I have been talking to everybody who will listen and telling them about my friend Sid Couchey and his wonderful presentation and display going on through the month of April 2002, covering just about every aspect of his life, including all the secret parts. A lot of his life has to do with drawing things and painting things, and you will be able to see that here. And I hope all of you have had a chance already to see the interview that we did with Sid just a couple of days after the grand opening on a Saturday here. We have some extremely important things to discuss with him today that he doesn't know about. The first of all, Calvin was doing some research. Remember I told you there was a comic that was for sale on the internet.
That's right.
Hoot Gibson Western number 6, whatever the heck that means.
That's right. Yeah, Hoot looks very familiar to me. Yeah. Well,
And that
was
sold for $22.50 on eBay. You won't get a cut of that one either.
Well, as a matter of fact, I might. I don't know.
Oh, you
I
think
think
so?
I know that. But
We keep
the
track
thing
of
of it
those
is, this was the first comic book I ever did. And I did the first story. And the thing that it's very ingrained in my mind is that I never got paid for it. It was a company
that
called...
would be ingrained in my mind.
They called Fox, and I didn't get my money for a long time. And to me, it was a big deal. I mean, just to see my name in print was, or my stuff in print was great. But then to be paid for it when I was going to school on a GI Bill, $19 or something like that from the government. But anyway, time went by and I never heard, so I went down to see them, and the company had gone bankrupt. So that was my first, but I can't say my first paycheck.
Okay, that's how it began with
That's
the
old
Hoot Gibson book.
That's right.
Tell me when you got it there, Calvin. That's neat. That's great. All right, something else. First question I have to ask is, how's your pitching arm?
Pitching arm, I'm ready to go with a 24-hour notice.
I might give you a little more than that. When's the last time you threw a baseball?
Baseball or softball?
Well, either way. I know you played softball.
Well, softball, I probably 4 years ago I tossed a little bit, but
Did you
but
really?
watch out where you're coming from, because I used to get paid for pitching softball occasionally when I was in the service, and pitched for Huntsville Arsenal. But it's been a while. But I'm ready.
I thought you might be ready because we have some, what I think is wonderful and interesting news for you today. Thanks to your friend and mine, Calvin Castine, who spends a lot of time in Montreal. He started either a flurry or a barrage of email back and forth with your all-time favorite baseball team, the Cleveland Indians.
Oh. All right.
Who are going to be in Montreal for a series beginning June 21st.
Okay, now I'm beginning to get steamed up here. Tell me more.
You're getting ready now. Does the arm feel looser
Oh,
and
I'm
looser
ready.
and
I'm ready.
looser? And within the last 48 hours or so, the last of the email came through saying that our friend Sid Couchey had been approved by the president of the world, or the king of the Indians, or the head of the unit, head of the Expos,
You got to be kidding.
and you are going to be there with bells on opening day to toss that first ball.
You gotta be kidding. Listen.
We
listen.
didn't want to tell you before this moment because we wanted to capture it on film.
You know, I'm trying to conjure up. I saw a picture today of the gal who won the umpteen $1 million.
Did you?
And it was,
21-year-old gal.
but it wasn't nearly as animated as I'm feeling inside. But now I'll tell you something more.
Okay.
I have in my folder, very careful, I have all the Cleveland Indians signed in 1995, but more than that, in 1949, I have the thing of the Cleveland Indians signed when I was in New York City, and they have Satchel Paige, Bob Feller, and a whole bunch, and Kenny
Just
Keltner.
to drop a few names.
But the thing of it is, the thing is being eaten around the corners, and it's my joy and my pride, and yet the bane of my existence that's deteriorating. But I could show that up there at the. I'd love to show that to the the Indian gang. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? Now I just wondered what your reaction is. You had all the predictable emotions connected with this announcement today.
All right, here's what this beats. When I got called to come out to Kansas City I got Lifetime Achievement Awards for the comics convention out there. Ruth and I went out a few years ago, and it happened to be my birthday, May 24th, and so the gang, a lot of big cartoonists heard that it was my birthday. They took me out to Kansas City ballpark on my birthday in a snowstorm for a little while. But anyway, so I had a birthday party in Kansas, but Cleveland wasn't involved. So this beats that 3 times over. No, I can't believe this.
You think this might be the pinnacle of your success, huh?
There's no question.
Or at least
about
the top of the mark.
Well, not only that, this is so many-sided. Now I can crow in front of all my anti-Cleveland fans. There's only 3 Indian fans in northern New York State. So
you and Ruth, and who else?
Well, I can't think of it offhand, but some guy in jail, I think. But anyway, so it works both ways. My delight and the scorn of all of my putter-downers of the Yankee fans.
It's got to be. I mean, you have to promise me that you're going to stand more than 20 feet away from the plate when you deliver.
Well, I wish it were softball, but I'll work on overhand.
Maybe they'd let you do it underhand.
Well, we'll see.
I don't think they'd let you throw a softball. And I don't think they'll give you a basketball or a soccer ball.
No, I'll go into training. And has anybody come up with a date there?
Yes, June 21st.
June 21st.
The opening day of the series. First ball, first game, first series ever in Montreal. Our viewers may not be aware that Cleveland's never been to Montreal before.
Right. Okay.
And the reaction of Montreal was they never asked. No.
You know what? I put on my Cleveland Indian cap this morning, and I intended to wear it like I did. I said, well, I'll have a little class, and I put this back on.
I wondered where that hat was last time we interviewed you, so you had to go back. But you do have you got a cap?
Oh, I got 4 of them.
Oh, you do? Huh?
I got a jacket. I got the whole works.
Oh, all the
I just hope
memorabilia.
they don't change the Cleveland Indian insignia before the time comes. And my cap will be irrelevant. But anyway.
I wanted to go back and take a look at some of this paperwork that Calvin gave me. I would rather have Calvin describe it. Would you like to, or would you like to have me read some of it?
Go ahead.
It says to Matt Charbonneau, Montreal Expos, Media Relations. Look at the Sid Couchey picture. You put that right in there, huh?
Yep.
See that? No wonder. I think they fell for Champy.
Good.
You think so?
Well, one arm when I
It
saw
said-
him pogo, too.
Yeah. Okay, it says, Matt, you're too young to remember the Richie Rich comic books, but I'm sure you remember the movie from a few years back. Sid Couchey is a spry.
Okay, I'll take that.
Jump in anytime here. A spry, soon-to-be 83-year-old, who drew many of the Richie Rich Little Dot, Little Lotta comics during the 50s and 60s. He lives about 25 miles south of Plattsburgh and is underlined a highly popular figure in northern New York State area. He's a lifelong Cleveland Indians fan, goes back to the days of Bob Feller and the rest of the stars from the early 50s. If the team hasn't lined up all the first ball throwers for the Indians series, you might want to consider him. It would certainly generate a little extra publicity in the northern New York region. I'll be seeing him tomorrow. We're doing a program on his latest exhibit in Plattsburgh. If this idea has any possibilities, let me know. See you next week, Calvin Castine.
Good writing, beautiful writing.
And with the picture.
That's prose.
Hi, Calvin.
Does that make you envious, Suzanne?
I love it. Thank you very much for that. This is the reply. Hi, Calvin. Thank you very much for that creative and colorful illustration and invitation. I do remember the Richie Rich TV cartoon.
Let me interrupt. Now, this is a personnel director. What is this guy again?
Media relations.
Media
okay.
relations, okay. So it's a real thing. He just didn't send this to his brother-in-law, you know.
Yeah.
So none of this is
Not the
fabricated.
governor,
No. It says, I didn't care too much for the Macaulay Culkin movie.
Okay.
And,
That
so
doesn't
we'll drop
bother
in
me.
that little editorial comment because they didn't pay you or even ask for your opinion
That's
when they
right.
made the
That's
movie,
right.
so who cares? And came across a few comic books when I was young. The idea is a fabulous one, so I would refer you to our promotions and special events director, Gina Hackle. Her email's copied in this letter. You want to contact her, I'm sure she'd be open to a great idea like yours. And there's another one. We got the paper trail here, so you cannot get out of this. I just looked through my schedule. We'd love to have Mr. Couchey throw out the first pitch on June 21st against the Indians. Please let me know if you're still interested, and I'll book the date and the tickets. And hi, Gina, Calvin says. I'll be seeing Sid Couchey tomorrow. I haven't told him yet about the possibility of throwing out that ball because I didn't want to get his hopes up and then disappoint him. But I did ask if he was planning on going to any of the games, and he said he was certainly going. We're going to surprise him tomorrow with the news, and we're going to do it with cameras rolling and clicking so that we can capture his reaction on videotape. One thing I'd like to know before tomorrow, if possible, I think his original plan was for he and his wife to go to Saturday, June 22nd game with another couple. I think the opening game of the series would be the best one. But if he has a conflict on Friday, are there other days available? Yada, yada. If you could get back to me today, I'd appreciate it. I'd like to be able to have everything decided tomorrow when I see him at the art exhibit in Plattsburgh. And so, Sid Couchey, are you available for Friday, June 21st to throw out the first ball of the first game of the first ever Cleveland Indians Montreal Expos series?
Response?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll be there.
Underline 3 or 4. Make it 4 times. Underline. Yeah. I'm ready. Yeah.
So we took our little time here today, and we got Sid back down in the middle of his exhibit using great deception. But we've been known to fib a little bit just so we could make people happy. And it pleases us to do this. You are indeed a wonderful, almost lifelong friend. You and I have known each other for a long time. Our lives have taken some parallels, and then you shot up toward the stars, and I just stayed here in Morrisonville.
Well, we've been friends well, I say friends, but now, buddy, it's nice to see you. Calvin, great guy.
Well,
Okay.
this was Calvin's
Oh, wait a minute.
master
How much is
plan.
this going to cost?
No credit cards, please.
Okay.
But
Well,
you
this
will-
has been,
How much older are you than Sid?
A
wait a minute
long,
now.
long time.
wait a minute now.
Decades. Who knows? We might have been brothers, or maybe even I was his father and he was my son in another life. Let's look at it that way.
Well, let's look at it this way. If I can't get the ball to home plate, maybe you could stand halfway and get
We
the
can
rest
have a
of it.
relay, a bucket brigade to get the ball to home plate.
Yeah.
The only thing we ask is that you stay more than 20 feet away. We watched some of those short arm pictures up there
Yeah.
recently at games in Montreal.
Well, let's see.
It'll be a
thinking
nice
back.
honor, though, won't it?
Was it Jimmy Carter was pretty good? I'll get those pictures and rehearse.
Yeah, but
and see.
Jimmy Carter threw peanuts. They're a lot lighter than baseballs.
You have a point there.
So congratulations.
Well,
I
thank
think
you.
it'll be a wonderful time.
I don't know. Whatever my response is, like I say, underline it 10 times. But no, this is just taking me aback. I've got Ruth, is this really happening?
This is for real. You will have a copy of the videotape that you can play over and over and over again. No, we didn't tell Ruth. Are you kidding? Tell Ruth? No secrets between these two.
I mean, she's standing here and sees it, but does she still believe it? That's my problem.
It's a
No,
pretty
that's
neat
good.
thing. I want to personally thank Calvin
Me too.
for doing this, because it was his idea. And wasn't it a pleasure, Calvin, to get those responses and say, oh no, can we really pull this off?
Yeah, it was a shot in the dark, and sometimes a shot in the dark you hit the target, and I'm glad the Expo's response was so positive, and they're behind us 100%. And it'll be Sid and Ruth and two guests. They'll send them 4 tickets. So
That's great. I really appreciate it.
4 tickets?
Yeah.
4 tickets.
Wow.
And our personal thanks to Shan Moore for being with us today from the Plattsburgh Press Republican, a dear friend for a long, long time, so that the world is going to know about this if we have to peddle this story on the street corner,
Well, just to add all kinds of things, my brother's birthday was on June 21st, and so this will be sort of a celebration of that. He's passed, but
Isn't that cool?
And I've been I just told Suzanne before that I've been an admirer of her work, and
How can you help it?
and I said that before I knew what was happening. And so it's valid.
So now it's all validated.
And this guy I thought was pretty good. Calvin was pretty good cameraman, but boy, I'll tell you, you've got other attributes.
Besides all the other responsibilities he had to shoulder throughout his lifetime, he had to carry that very heavy camera through thick and through thin. He's followed me through the marshes and the woodlands, into sugar bushes and everywhere with that camera.
There's another thing. While I'm looking at you, I have since years ago when you took the first thing, afterwards I was appreciative. I did a picture of little Lotta and Richie Rich, and I had I was trying to draw a camera in between them all with Calvin taking a shot of me. I had it all finished except I didn't know what I'd forgotten what the camera looked like, and so that is all done.
Never stopped you
sticking
before.
Your head in. Is that right, Ruth? I have Calvin's picture all ready to go.
Already, all we have to do is, we know what Calvin looks like. We just have to figure out what
Well,
the
that's the
camera's
trouble. I just didn't know how to draw anybody that looked like that. I mean, it's true I'm a cartoonist, but
You
can only
no problem with little Lotta.
You
He
can-
looks just like Calvin,
Well,
right?
you
For the mustache.
you can only exaggerate so far, and then it becomes unbelievable.
Artists are allowed a certain amount of, shall we say, latitude and poetic license. So if you want to draw that camera to
Well,
look like a Volkswagen bus, you can do that too.
Well, the thing is, that's what people don't understand. Cartoonists, it's their mandate to exaggerate and distort.
course
see.
it
I mean,
is.
we'd be untrue to our profession if we didn't distort and all that stuff. But some people, it's just hard to go any beyond reality, But anyway.
I just want our audience to know that on this day, I don't even know what the date is today, the 18th of April
18th or something,
2002,
I didn't know either.
you have been allowed to view the thick and thin of it all. And we don't have to exaggerate it all to see where the thick and the thin are. My profile is not much different from the other view, so don't give me that stuff.
Okay.
Have yourself a wonderful day in Montreal on June 21st. Calvin, are you going to be there, you think?
with the camera.
He'll have that camera.
Well, I'll be having a wonderful time. Ruth will be having 2 others, Calvin, but I'll be having a wonderful time each day between now and June 21st, I'll tell you.
And we'll do the post log when you're back sometime and
Okay.
find out what that was really like.
Okay.
Sid, thanks a lot for being such a good friend, not only of those of us in this room, but of so many thousands of others who have admired you and your work for all these years.
Well, I appreciate that. I just have one qualification. I'd like to ask Calvin something. You have a lot of clout, obviously, including with the Montreal team. Is there any way you could arrange for them to throw the game to Cleveland?
Oh, boy. No, I think he might have stepped just a tiny step over the edge.
Oh, well, all right.
Confused with Shoeless Joe.
Yeah, Shoeless
I mean,
Joe.
if you want to complete my joy, you know.
Oh, well, we want to make you happy, but we can only go so far.
Well, all right. I'll settle for that and be very grateful. And I thank you and Calvin very much and for your efforts. And I've admired you guys in your field, and I know that you have scads of fans around and friends, and it's just a joy to work with you.
We hopefully make a lot of friends. Thanks, Ruth, for being part of this guy for all those years. Ruth is a superstar in her own right and very humble about her ability to manage things in Sid's life and her singing career, which has just taken her all over the face of the earth. And
Rooting Cleveland will win.
oh, see that? Won't that be amazing? You want to predict the final score now?
Yeah, I can see it all now. It's 7-2, and you know who's favored.
Okay, 7-2. Sounds like a Yankee score fairly recently, doesn't it? I don't know why I brought up the Yankees today.
Let's see. Cleveland will be batting first. Oh, well, if Cleveland were in the field, I was going to say, while I'm throwing that first pitch in, I'll ask for it, and I'll doctor it up a little bit.
I would spit on it if I were you, yeah.
Well, no, I'd draw the line there. But now, how about any other restriction? Do I have to throw a downer, a curveball, split finger? Well, something that the catcher can catch. Right?
Want to stretch and hurt himself. Right?
Just tell him not to blink or it'll be by him, into the backstop, into the fans.
Hernia ball.
Oh, hernia ball. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching the fun things that we do on our little hometown cable television show. And who knows? Even I don't know where we're going to be next time for our little corner.
Calvin Castine at Olympic Stadium. We're continuing our behind-the-scenes look at the Montreal Expos, and we're also continuing with our Sid Couchey throws out the ball story. And we are here on this June 21st, longest day of the year. Has this been a long day for you, Mr. Couchey?
It certainly has. I've been wondering all day, what have I got myself into? What have you got me into? No, I'm enjoying it. We've been looking through old Montreal.
You came up early?
Getting psyched up. Yeah, came up.
You brought the missus with you, and the daughter, and the son-in-law, and
yep, the whole works.
we're making a night of it, huh?
I need the support. And even saw some of the Essex crew outside, so we're almost all ready.
Now, I heard that Essex sent up a bus. We've got people from Willsboro and Essex, and
That's
also
right.
Essex County coming up.
That's right. And so I'm not sure whether that's going to be support or booze or what.
Well, if you don't throw at least close to a strike, if it's a little bit off the plate, they might let you go. But I've heard you're going to be booed if it's off the plate by a lot.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, just so I don't get run out of town. But,
Well, you got one fan here. Ruth said she's going to cheer for you,
good for her.
no matter what.
And my daughter and son-in-law are on the fence, but I think they'll come over before.
Once they get carried away with the emotion,
They'll see me
they'll
out there all by myself. Yeah.
getting booed and things thrown at you, then they'll feel sorry for you.
That's right.
Now, what have you done to prepare for this arm-wise?
Well,
you're a
I've
lefty,
done-
right?
And
Lefty, right? You're a lefty, correct?
no, I'm a right.
You're right. My son said he saw you on Channel 5 winding up with a throw a softball right-handed and end up throwing it left-handed.
Well, that was a trick pitch
Oh,
that nobody's ever hit. The reason being I've never gotten it over the plate yet. But no, I started out with a tennis ball, Ruth catching a tennis ball, and then when I advanced to a hard ball, then of course Ruth was out of the question. I didn't want to break her nose or anything. So some guys around town have volunteered.
Sturdy guys, I imagine.
Right. Oh yeah. And I didn't knock him backwards too far, and took it easy on him and all that.
What is your fastball been clocked at?
Well, it varies depending what clock you use. If you use the official clock, it's 37 miles an hour. Use my clock, it's 96.
I see. So there's a discrepancy there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Celsius and Fahrenheit, or kilometers in Fahrenheit.
That's right. Watch your language. I like to know what you're talking about. But anyway.
I just like to throw out those 3-syllable words once in a while. So you've been given your tickets, and tell us about the bus up here. Is some of the people in town, in the county, got behind that?
I heard that the Champy bus is not one of the smoothest rides in town. They thought they had lost their axles altogether, I guess, by the time they got here. But I understand it was a little bumpy, but they were a happy group, so at least they got here.
Who organized that?
Ron Jackson was very good about our town supervisor, and took the ball by which pleased me very much, and did all the arrangements. And we even have a couple of judges. Oh man, we have the
I heard
elite.
Charlie Lewis is coming up.
Oh yeah, and his wife Renee, and we have just the cream of the crop. Former supervisor Wes Vanderhorst, and my nephew. Dan Couchey, I mean, it's just the cream of the crop. And
Montreal will never be the same.
John Ball, famous banker. My goodness, I'm going to be getting in trouble because I'm missing.
Yeah, you're going to miss some people here, but if you're a famous banker, he must be the one that handles your account then.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, part of it. I mean,
Yeah,
you
got to diversify a little bit.
That's right.
Now, you were probably a little bit shocked when you found out that Cortland Wood was going to be singing the anthems tonight, but you decided to come anyway, is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's right. But then, well, the reason being, I found out that I'm on before he is, so
I see.
I don't have to worry about us hitting those sour notes or tremolo or anything like that. Yeah.
So as soon as you're done, you're going to hustle off the field.
That's right. Yeah, and go undercover while he's just singing.
Okay, well,
But then I got another thing that's very prestigious, in addition to yourself, is Doug Sherwin over there from the Press Republican. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's class.
Yeah,
When Doug shows up, that's a
yeah, when they send their top man like that from the press, you know this is top.
Yeah, that's
high.
right.
Now, I did listen to Channel 5, and they said they're covering their expos tonight. It's Vermont Expo's opening night. So instead of being here for Sid, the Channel 5 is over in Burlington. What do you think of that?
Well, that shows where your priorities are. But at least what's his name?
Mark Sudol gave you a
Mark
nice little
Sudol,
build up
that's
there a
right,
couple
that's
days ago.
That's right, a couple of days, and he advertised for me. I'm not sure whether he insulted me or not, but they say that I was on TV.
I heard the box office phones lit up as soon as that feature was on.
Yeah, well, that's
People canceling their tickets.
Wait a minute, let's just. Maybe I could ask the questions for a while.
All right, let's get Cortland up here.
You've been giving all the answers.
That's right. Let's get Cortland up here and find out why he decided to come along.
Make out, explain to the viewers that I'm really sitting down and you.
Yeah, would you stand up, Sid, and talk to Cortland and I? Cortland, you've done this before, and not watched Sid throw out a ball, but you've sang the national anthem.
I've sang the national anthem several times here, several times over the years. Yes, from 1982 on, I've been singing off and on.
What nation was that anyway?
He does them all.
You have to sing them both?
I sing them both,
Yeah.
French and English. Yes, thank God I can do it.
And you've done it at Shea Stadium and at Yankee Stadium also.
Correct. Yes, I have. And then I was invited to the White House to sing at the White House for a 90-minute program.
Wow.
Very nice.
How does this rank with the White House?
Better.
Better?
Why
Uh-oh.
not? See,
Easy
this
said.
is this
Wait a
is
minute.
this
Easy
is a star.
Listen, the last two presidents that threw out the first ball, it dribbled in. There's 3 bounces, so
So what, you got a distance down that you're going to try for here? 'Cause
I'm going to try for 90 feet.
90 feet.
I just found out that was between the bases, and so it might be
Yes.
into the backstop. But
Well, he's going to beat me. They've already got bets on it. I did one night here throw the first pitch, and I couldn't reach the home plate. So I say you're going to beat me.
So how'd you end up here, coming here tonight, Cortland?
Well, I heard about Sid doing. I was here last May. I was here May, almost the first part of the season, and I heard that you were going to be up here the 21st. I said, well, let's see if I can do it and make it a Plattsburgh night. So she said, okay. She got me here. And I feel honored to be with this man. I've known this gentleman for years, and he's got caricature and cartoons of me and some different things I've been in. So it'd be a privilege to be with him.
And you still came.
Okay, we're going to pick up on this Sid Couchey story. Your family will be in the stands and
That's right.
cheering you on, and the rest of the town will be
Hopefully.
booing you. And
Hopefully cheering.
we got two cameras. Judy, my wife Judy is here. We got Caleb Castine with us also, and we're going to run two cameras. We're going to run one on you singing, and we're going to have another one on that scoreboard,
Okay.
so we can see you up there in all living color, 20 feet high, and so on. That's going to be exciting, huh?
Who is going to time my pitch?
Oh, we got the radar gun. The radar gun's in that little box over there, and we're gonna.
May I make an announcement?
We brought a calendar with us, so we can time. We can
Can I
time your pitch.
Take a moment to make an announcement.
You certainly can.
I have done some research, and to my knowledge, there is no first ball Hall of Fame. But after I become a professional, and after tonight's performance, I'm going to see that there is one, and I'm going to be the first entry. And,
Well,
and
can
then-
Cortland come in your shirt tails? He said he's thrown one out also.
well, from what I heard,
She didn't-
we don't cover that type of, any booby prizes.
Well,
or
you
anything.
haven't thrown yours yet, so don't don't get too brave here.
This is
Sid.
all contingent upon my reaching the catcher's mitt. Okay?
Okay, so if you reach the catcher's mitt,
Whatever
and you-
bounce.
on the third bounce, then Hall of Fame, here we come.
Right.
All right, we're going to pick up on this story, probably on the field, so don't go away. The moment is almost here. The entourage and the king in his court is here. There's the man of the hour. He's lost Cortland. Cortland had to stop to refuel. Brought his glove. I guess he's planning on, he thinks they're going to hit the ball back at him, so he's ready to field it. A special rosin bag? What's that? Oh, going to keep his arm warm. Should have some ice in there, Sid.
Oh, I suppose that.
If you ever wondered how a great pitcher prepares for the start, now you know. He's going to put on his Indians jacket. He's going to get thrown out of this Expo ballpark here. This lifetime Cleveland Indian fan is taking no prisoners here. He's not afraid to show his partiality. He is he has got his full Cleveland Indian gear, and like a pitcher, just on his pitching arm.
For Haynes and
You figure you got some endorsements coming up here for Hanes underwear?
but nobody's approached me yet. But wait till after the
Oh, this is it. This is your break.
yeah, wait till after the pitch. Yeah.
83-year-old rookie, and there's Cortland. Cortland's out here already. As expected, a lot of fans here looking for his autograph. The Sid Couchey autograph, a very valued prize. Cortland Wood explaining to Caleb Castine how to hit the high notes. Sid's moment of truth there. Place your bets as to whether or not he is going to reach home plate. Doug Sherwin from the Press Republican taking some snapshots, as is Judy Castine from Hometown Cable. She's taking some snapshots too here for the Couchey family. We come here with two cameras. I'll be covering the on-field antics, and Caleb Castine over there in the photography box behind Doug Sherwin and Cortland Wood. His camera will be zoomed in on the scoreboard and the message board up there, and the Sid's picture will probably be up there, and his name will be right along there. So, in addition to capturing his on-field antics, we'll be also capturing what happens on the scoreboard. He's warming up. He is starting to warm up. He got the word a little over 2 months ago, and there's no reason not to have his arm in shape. He's had a 2-month spring training. First ever visit to Olympic Stadium by the Cleveland Indians. Our man Sid is trying to decide exactly where he wants to get. Very seldom do you see the person throwing out the first ball actually get up on the pitching rubber, on the mound, to throw from the rubber. Getting closer to the moment of truth.
Second switch for the first time since June of 1996. Also their longest winning streak since winning 10 in a row during that season. We'll send Javier Vasquez to the mound tonight with a record of 4-3 against Cleveland left-handers.
We're very pleased in how the community got behind this. The county of Essex, the town of Essex, the people in Willsboro, the local media. Shan Moore from the Press Republican was there when Gordy and I made the announcement. Doug Sherwin is here to cover it from the Press Republican. Channel 5 did a nice promo for this a couple of days ago. So the whole community has gotten behind Sid's big moment here, and we couldn't be any more pleased. And of course, Cortland Wood, knowing that Sid was going to be here to throw out that ball, asked to be here to be part of this. Everybody wants to get a picture of Sid Couchey. Richie Rich cartoonist, making it to the big time tonight. Oh, there's Ruth. We hope to make it into the stands to visit with a few of the people who came along on this excursion. Looks like we've got a few more Sid Couchey fans over there. Charlie Lewis, a former judge, originally from Shazy, now living in that Essex area. It's getting closer here, and of course after Sid does this, we'll be picking up with Cortland Wood, singing both anthems. More and more Sid Couchey fans finding their way down to the front row. Sid has always been a local celebrity, and certainly even more so today. There's UP. UP has been arrested. UP has been arrested. I'm not quite sure what the charges are, but it's about time they caught up with him. Impersonating a mascot, I think, was the charge. Oh, he's breaking free. Breaking free. UP escapes as we get ready for Sid's big moment. There we go. Sid's name and everything is up on the scoreboard along with some cartoons. There he comes. With the scoreboard in the background. He's not going to waste any time. He's been waiting 2 months for this. He's actually been waiting 83 years for this. Doug Sherwin going out. He wants to get a close-up for the Press Republican. He's going to stand about 50 feet or so from the UP is going to call the balls and the strikes. Looks like Sid is ready. Looks like Sid is ready. At 6:56 p.m., June 21st. Cleaning his cleats off. All right, adjusting the trousers, shaking. All right, he's ready. He's ready. Sid Couchey, superstar. Uh-oh. Checking the signs. What's he doing now? Oh, you can't see the sign. You gotta, oh, you gotta. All right, I think he's ready. Here we go. Checking the runner at first. There's the windup. UP's ready. Here it comes. It's a curve. Strike. Strike, says UP. It was a strike, UP, right there. Looked like a split finger fastball from here. You're covering up that Expo hat. You're covering up that Indian hat, that's for sure. Look at that, just got done pitching and he's still trotting. Did he step on the white line? I didn't notice. Pitchers never step on the white line. Sid Couchey, a big hit here in Montreal. He's picked up some new fans. Now here's Cortland Wood.
fine rendition of our national anthem. Now the Canadian national anthem. With our national anthems. Portland's the one on the left. Now where are you going? Disneyland?
Well, I have to wait till report.
Okay, Sid Couchey in his golden moment, and you saw it here on Hometown Cable. Just ran into one of the head groundkeepers there saying he was funny, eh? He thought he got a kick out of it, and I think everybody who was paying attention did. So thanks to Sid for livening it up here tonight on this June 21st, 2002. We're going to pick up here with a little shot maybe in the stands. As we get set for the bottom of the 6th inning, we're going to sign off on this program. Our original intent was to interview Sid and some of the folks from the Essex County area. But Sid's seat is now unoccupied. We've heard that he moved down to sit with the folks who came from Essex County. And unfortunately, we don't know exactly where they're seated, although I believe it's in this general area here. We have been unable to find them. Although the crowd is only about 7,500, it's still kind of hard to pick out a couple of faces in the crowd. So that's going to wrap up Hometown Cable's coverage of Sid Couchey's big day. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you see Sid on the street, we hope you'll pass along your congratulations. You did an outstanding job there, and we heard a lot of nice compliments from some of the folks behind the scenes here in Montreal. So thanks for watching, and for those of you supporting Hometown Cable's ongoing efforts. Calvin Castine with a follow-up to the big pitch. We've imposed on Sid Couchey. Sid said he wanted to do this, and we brought Ruth along with us, and Judy Castine's on the camera. And Sid, you kind of almost demanded this follow-up, right?
Yes, I'm afraid there might be some misunderstanding, and especially those not familiar with baseball terms and everything would not get the right angle. One is, it's been said, believe this or not, but my taking the first pitch took too much time.
No.
Can you believe that? Yeah.
I can't believe that.
This, I know it's hard to believe.
Well, some guy in the stands told me that when you first went out there, he went out to the concession stand, stood in line, bought a hot dog, chatted with some friends, and went back and saw you throw the first pitch. So that wasn't more than 15 minutes.
No, see, that's a reasonable thing. But
yeah.
I mean, well, even their cameraman. You know, the cameraman, the Expo cameraman that stood in front. And maybe you heard it from where you're at, but anyway, stood off to the right, but still in between me and the catcher. Well, I came out, fully prepared like a professional. You did a very good job describing protecting my arm, and I come out, took off my jacket, started to unwind my wraparound, and he said, with some gall, I thought, said, throw the first pitch. And but I had a lot of work to do yet, so I continued. I cleaned off my cleats, and just got those nicely cleaned. And he says, "Okay, throw the pitch." And but I had, I had to get out. I had trouble seeing the signals. I don't know if you noticed that. As a matter of fact, I shook off two signals, and then when I got out my binoculars and looked, the cameraman sort of threw up his hands and said, "Just throw the darn pitch."
Now, was he bilingual or was it just in English?
No, it was unilingual. Yeah, I'm not sure, but
He didn't throw any French in there?
But I think they will probably bleep it out, because on that. But somebody estimated that if that had my speech and my action had been on commercial television time, that it probably would have cost about $300,000. Now I don't know how true that is, but even my own daughter, my own beloved daughter, got to thinking about my throwing out the first pitch, and somehow, knowing her dad, she got to thinking that maybe, just possibly, by the time I got the first pitch off, that maybe the first batter would have wandered up there. So she bought me a batting helmet, so that if I got a shot back at me by the first batter, I'd be protected now. But I just don't have anybody's turning against me. As a matter of fact,
Except Ruth. Now, Ruth's...
that's right. Well, that's right. But you aren't against me, are you?
No, I'm never against you.
Okay.
Were you up in the stand saying, throw the pitch?
No. I was
You
going,
enjoying
go, Sid, go. Taking pictures, answering questions. Lady next to me said, "This man is so popular. What? Who is he?" I said, "That's my husband."
I thought she was the one that...
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, we are back. We've temporarily interrupted. We had store security here, mall security. I don't think I introduced where we're at here, and we're at the Champlain Centers, north, I guess. I don't know if they call it north anymore because there is no more south, but it's Champlain Centers north, and security was a little concerned about, when they saw Judy holding the camera, they were a little concerned about what her motives might be here, but that's all been cleared up and we're set to go. Ruth, you were saying that you actually admitted in front of this crowd of people that was your husband out there.
That's right. And then after he finished his many different... After he finished his throw, she said, "Well, he's a bit of a ham, isn't he?" I said, "Yes, he is."
See there? They're all against me. I'll tell you, the fact that it was a very daunting thing. Consider the pressure on me. And consider this. They told me at the beginning that they would send out a cute little French girl to accompany me out to the mound.
Yeah, she was only about 5 feet tall.
And yeah. What comes out is
You're sideways, Sid.
a cute girl, but she was 6'3".
No.
Well, close to it.
Judy's trying to zoom in on her here. Can you get her, Jude?
Then they tell me.
Okay, we've got it.
Then they tell me that the singer is coming out. He comes out standing beside. He's 7'1".
Cortland? Yeah, I think he's listed at 7'2" in the program.
In the program, yeah. And that was, under. But they.
And you're what, 6'1"? In your stocking feet?
Well, no. I'm 5'2", but anyway, they.
He used to be 5'10", but I think
I'm
he's about
actually,
5'8" now.
actually, I'm on a chair here in this picture. That's but anyway, beyond that, the catcher and what's the mascot?
Yuppie, yeah.
They're both 6 feet too, and there I am between. They were trying to intimidate me.
Well, they were smothering you there. You couldn't even see.
That's right. I had a hard time breathing.
Judy can zoom in on that. Got it? Judy's got it.
Okay.
And there's I don't know, is that cameraman in there, Judy? Is it? Are you just okay? That camera, that's the fellow who was hollering at you all this time.
That's right. That's the one. Intimidating me. I think it's a Canadian conspiracy. And let me tell you about the catcher. Now this, I suppose that they're putting their first line professional catcher in there.
Well, I imagine.
He wasn't, but they tell me that my French friend, little girl, 6'3", said that they rotate. It must be some kind of an honor. Well, at least in my case.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they rotate, and he wasn't a catcher. And not only that, but he was against me, and I'll tell you why. Put yourself in my place. Professional pitcher that I am, I'm looking for the signal. I'm looking for numbers. 1, 2, maybe 3.
Sure.
Well, maybe, my 5 finger, looking for 5. And what kind of a sign do I get? He goes, imagine that. I mean, what am I supposed to? Did you notice that I shook off 2 pitches?
Yes.
That was the first one. That one with 2 signs. That was the first one. The other one, he goes, but you noticed I shook that off too, and I ended up with my 5 finger slow ball. But
it dropped. It just that ball was coming real slow, then it just.
Well,
dropped.
you know why that was? I just noticed at the last minute that he was giving me that signal with the glove. He had the tip of his glove right on the ground, and the ball got up there and looked, where his glove was, and just dropped right into it.
Oh, UP called a strike on it.
Oh, that's right. Well, that's the one thing that they did right. The idiot mascot was the only one that was on my side. Anyway, but the other thing that was a little disconcerting. Now, understand, I had a wonderful time. And I've had some of my friends said they had the best time of their life, and I did. Ruth did. We just loved it. Everybody was great. But there was one thing, the way it ended, the announcer said, tomorrow night, what's his name, Rogers. What was his first name?
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers, former pitcher, apparently. And lionized by the people, I understand that, was going to throw out the first pitch. And that didn't bother me because, I threw out the first pitch too, so same treatment. But then they followed that by saying that tomorrow night when Steve Rogers throws out the first pitch, we're also giving out to all the kids a Steve Rogers bobblehead doll. Not once did they ever mention about a Sid Couchey bobblehead doll. Do you believe that?
I thought it was a given that they would have a...
Yeah, well, I did too.
Yeah.
Well, I realized it was on somebody's part, just an oversight. So I thought I'd design my own, and it isn't in mass production yet, but it's the only trouble is there may be some resistance because the first guy I suggested it to said, Sid Couchey trading cards, I might go for it. Sid Couchey bobblehead doll, said forget it. So I'm a little discouraged about that, but we'll see what happens.
Now, there's only 5,000 of the Steve Rogers bobblehead dolls.
Well,
I imagine you'll mass produce these Sid Couchey ones.
Well, yeah. Well, let's start off at 5 or 10,000. After all, but and then of course, finally, there's I'm glad to report good progress on the first ball pitch Hall of Fame. And I've gotten a location for it. It's going to be in Jim's pretty good bookstore in Whalesburg, New York, in the annex there. And I'll have more information on that.
I thought we were meeting here because you were going to rent some space here at the mall and put it in here initially.
Well, I was thinking about that, but I didn't like, well, anyway, I didn't want them to take it for granted that I'd be a pushover and everything. And
oh, you're negotiating.
I don't think they have a proper suite to accommodate me, but anyway. But everything else is fine, and I had a wonderful time. And I want to tell you that my daughter, who is very perceptive, she was an English teacher and all that, thought that you did an excellent job. And also, I got to say that Doug Sherwin did a good job.
I thought the pictures he took really captured.
Well, not only that, and not only your pictures, but your inestimable grasp of baseball jargon. I was very impressed when you described how I was taking care of my arm as a professional pitcher does, and so that people can see just, you know, the inside story on all those things. No, I can't commend you enough for the professionalism of this whole process.
Now, a couple of weeks after this great pitch, when I heard the announcement that the Indians had traded a pitcher to the Expos, I said, Sid has been traded. I thought for sure they were going to say Sid Couchey, but it turns out to be this Bartolo Colon that I'd never heard of.
I'll tell you how that came up. I mean, I can understand the mistake you made. You heard ultimately heard Bartolo Colon.
Yeah.
The conversation in the papers was that maybe I would take his spot in the regular rotation.
I see.
Since I was through with my first ball stuff, and, you know, had the experience and all that. But it hasn't happened yet. But I'm still hoping.
Well, I think if you hold out, Sid, you might lose out here. I think I wouldn't hold out too long if I were you.
Well,
having seen you pitch, I wouldn't hold out too long.
Well, I'll tell you, my strategy on that is that Cleveland's lost about 14 in a row. I figure when they lose 27 in a row, maybe, you know, maybe they'll grab me and at my price. So, you know, that's I thought all that through. So, but anyway, this has been a very enlightening conversation, I must say. Ruth, who isn't really a dyed-in-the-wool baseball fan, I'll bet even you have been edified by this conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Understood every word.
Now, in this first pitch Hall of Fame, there'll be different aspects of it. Will yours be the longest first pitch? That how you're going to be in there?
Well, the libretto that accompanied the pitch will, the spoken word will undoubtedly be the longest, and not necessarily the pitch itself, but taken together, yes, I would say that's a fair assessment of it.
Now, I wasn't talking about the pitch itself because that was a little short.
Yeah, well,
But deliberately.
yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, to accommodate the catcher's glove. Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, a batter would have been seeing this ball slowly coming at him,
Yeah.
and when he's ready to swing,
Yeah, that's right.
it was gone.
Yeah.
So that's why
he didn't
Yuppie-
have a chance.
That's why Yuppie called that
Right,
strike, because
yeah.
he's assuming the batter is there, and he knew anybody would have swung at
Right.
that.
Wouldn't have a chance.
Yeah.
But there's so many aspects, and now, as being not only the first inductee, but now the superintendent of the First Pitch Ball Hall of Fame, I have a little trouble with criteria in letting others in, and most of the presidents dribble it in. And I don't. And you're not going to get in by reason of your political status. I'll guarantee you that. And I'm going to be very strict and have set up guidelines, which aren't complete yet, but
Well, you've set the bar high already when you're the first inductee.
that's right. Yeah. And who knows? Maybe there'll never be another one, but just time will tell.
Well, I think-
maybe in 200-300 years, you know, somebody might come along.
Somebody else might, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like breaking Babe Ruth's home run record and stuff. It's never too late.
Now, you had quite a few people there. We looked for you in the stands, and we couldn't find you. You had some people you wandered off from your assigned seats.
Yeah, well, you know, the signing.
Better seats.
Better seats.
Well, I don't know if they're better.
They're in the yellow seats.
They're cheaper anyway. But well, you know, when you're busy with, I was glad that I kept my arm warm, because not only for the baseball, but then for signing of autographs afterwards, I was still in good shape. I was still all warmed up and ready to go. So the whole aspect of it was very, very, very appealing to me, and of course there are a lot of people, you know, back home that have asked me for my autograph, but most of them are just ordinary people and really, you know, aren't people of status. So I have to be, you know, I may have offended some people by refusing my autograph, but
Well,
you know,
ordinary people have to understand that.
well, when you reach this height, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, you can't be dealing with these ordinary people anymore.
That's right. That's right.
And I tell you something, right after he came back up to the stands, this man came over and said, "May I have your autograph?" He says, "That was the most entertaining first ball pitch I have ever seen." I want to thank you.
Well,
And did you give him an autograph, I hope?
You did.
And complete with the spider tail and everything?
yeah, but the thing is, I kept it down to $25. So I mean, so I gave him a break. It wasn't.
Yeah. Canadian or American?
Lithuanian.
Lithuanian.
Anyway.
$25 Lithuanian.
All kinds of. I had a friend, former state trooper by the name of Wayne Bailey. I don't know, and he had as much fun as I did because he. I don't know if you heard about him, but he wanted to come down and holler at me and make a greeting when we first came out on the field, and he couldn't see well enough, so he got up on the dugout. And the gendarme came along and says, off the dugout, no. And Wayne says, no. And kept looking and hollering. And the man says, no, what do you mean no? He says, I mean no. He says, see that man down there? Going to throw the first pitch? He says, yes. He opened up my shirt, and he had lettering on. He says, I'm his pitching coach. He says, I'm staying right here.
Says that.
The guy says, maybe 2-3 minutes. And then also, he was known for, there was some camera shots going around, and I don't know whether Youppi was there or just the details of it, but I understand that in order to make sure that the camera would come to him, he commandeered, well, he grabbed a pretty French maiden and got his arm around her, and so he had his picture taken with had a little memento of the game. So he had a great time. And then I had 2 judges. Oh, I had supervisors, had all sorts of A. Lee here. It was just a great time.
Has he been hard to live with since this, Ruth?
He's been having a great time. This has made his year. You have made his year. He can think of nothing else, even after it's all happened. And every time we meet someone, he's telling the whole story over again.
Is it like somebody with a new grandchild? Does he carry the pictures around with him?
Right, he does. He
By the way,
carries pictures in the car, pictures in his wallet, pictures.
The thing of it is, I got pictures from about 5 sources. Now, what I'm doing is everybody is taking them here and there, and I put them all together, and I'm getting a terrific sequence of.
Well, you could
of the whole
probably
thing.
have a little flip thing, and it'd be like a motion picture when you get done with all these different snapshots.
Well, I don't want to have my daughter or friends or anybody say that I've taken too long with the aftermath, even longer than the first pitch.
Okay,
But
well,
this has been a lot of fun.
Did
Did
you-
you have any questions you wanted that were burning that you wanted to ask the?
Oh, I know there was talk before. You mentioned the bobblehead, but there was talk before of the Sid Couchey card. Did you ever?
Yes, as a
Get
matter of
Topps
fact,
to come up with the money for
They
that?
have been refined, and they're in. I think
The
there's
collector's
one in
cards.
envelope, and they're being prepared. And I'm thinking we can make a public announcement. A friend of mine, Helen Cost. You can see what a fine professional job she did of these. They're a little smaller than the original. They're the regular size, and all authentic. There's a series of 6 of them, and we have both sides are covered, and it also has the other side has my pet.
Does it have your lifetime stats in there?
Oh yeah. This one, for instance, I think has the year I broke in, maybe in 1939 or something. I'm not sure what the other side of this one says, but it's all there, and it'll be available 20, 30 years.
So watch for those at your nearest sports memorabilia shop.
And your Wellensburg bookstore, don't forget.
And
Pretty good gym store.
And these will be a nice Christmas present for people that
Right. Yeah.
you don't know what to get people. What could be better than the
And
complete set?
yearning for the baseball season to start.
That's right.
Of course, there'll never be another season like this. So, but anyway.
Well, anything else, Sid? That you said you didn't want to have your daughter tell you talked too long here, but
No, so I guess that does it, and I have a big thanks for everybody involved. And people came up to see it, and people that fully intended to but couldn't make it, and then lastly the people that had to ride the bus for until 2 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, thank you very much.
And
You too.
okay, Sid, and my personal thanks. When we first came up with this idea, we had no idea that the community would get behind it so much, and Sid's received all kinds of support from the people in Essex and Essex County, and it was very nice of Doug Sherwin to be there, and of course Shan Moore with the original coverage of this event, and also I think the Cortland Wood volunteering to be a part of it. When I got on the elevator and we were going back to the press box, the elevator man said that he had got goosebumps listening to Cortland sing the anthem. So that was nice. All right.
And most of all, that professional sportscaster Calvin Castine and his wife.
And my wife Judy. All right. Thanks for watching. Okay, this never-ending story continues, believe it or not. It continues in beautiful downtown Waylandesburg, New York. There's Route 22. And here is the site of the Major League Baseball First Pitch Hall of Fame. And we're about to have the opening of the facility. Judge Charlie Lewis is here. Sid Couchey, one of the nominees to be the first inductee, is here. And we'll be reading the names of the nominees very shortly. So this is a big event for Waylandesburg. This is located just across from Jim's Pretty Good Bookstore, which is one of the landmarks here in beautiful downtown Waylandesburg. So this, like Cooperstown, is expected to draw a lot of tourists in the future. And as you can see, they picked one of the most opulent buildings in the community to make into the first ball pitcher Hall of Fame.
Okay, I got my kids in the car. I'm not supposed to do this.
I think we see only one of the nominees has arrived thus far. Only one of the nominees is here. But we're going to find out very shortly who the first inductee will be in the Baseball First Pitch Hall of Fame. So don't go away.
Gentlemen, baseball lovers of all ages, my name is Wayne Bailey from Essex, New York and Tampa, Florida, and I will be the MC for this morning's abbreviated program. I was asked to do this by Mr. Larry Dolan, the owner and CEO of the Cleveland Indians.
They fired him.
And at this time, I'd like to turn the program over to our guest of honor, who is going to introduce our dignitaries. Mr. Couchey?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to acknowledge, I hope I don't leave anybody out, that it's astounding, the class of people that are here. And for one thing, the real guest of the honor, star of the show, is the Judge Kennesaw Mountain Lewis, also known as the Honorable Charles Lewis, Judge Charles Lewis. And there's Jim LaForest, who is a well-known bookseller in Waylandesburg, and is keeping the literacy alive and well in Waylandesburg. And of course, you heard the announcer, Wayne Bailey, notorious for his stadium activities in Montreal. And there's too many. Well, and then Bud Sweat, a famous catcher, who was actually caught Johnny Padres and showed him how to pitch and ultimately to get in the World Series and beat the Yankees. And look at this, and there's Morris Glenn. He must have some claim to fame. Nothing occurs to me for that. and there's Wes Vanderhorst, and we could go on and on. Marshall, and there's our pastor. We got to watch. And my wife, she's hanging around with the camera. Bruce, the great Hall of Fame sign maker. Well, anyway, there's more than I can. And then, of course, our demon photographer, Calvin Castine, who went up to... All right. But I'm going to turn you over to who has the real message for us today, and that is the Honorable Judge Charles Lewis.
I'm glad you're standing. I have a proclamation to present and to read to this august crowd, and it's entitled this entitled proclamation. Whereas fans of the game of baseball throughout the entire world have voiced their desires that there be established, maintained, and preserved for posterity an appropriate recognition of those talented few who have today and may hereafter be selected by themselves or others to start a particular special baseball game in the National and American leagues, or in some extraordinary instances, play between those leagues by pitching out the first ball in said game. And whereas there's been no appropriate forum in which to perpetuate the honor of those extraordinary and superior athletes who have thrown out the first ball. And whereas an intrepid band of baseball fans maintaining residences along the banks of the Boquet River and the greater metropolitan communities of Essex, Wadhams, Waylandsburg, Boquet, Reber, Westport, and Willsboro in the county of Essex and state of New York have proposed that such an award and recognition be known as the First Ball Pitchers Hall of Fame be established and maintained in downtown Waylandsburg, which with a reasonable degree of certainty will become known as the Cooperstown of the North. And whereas a number of people, I believe, have been nominated. Cal, I believe you have those people. Could you list them, please?
Thank you, Judge. A wide variety of retired writers from the Baseball Writers of America came up with a final five, of which people from throughout the whole country have been able to vote on the internet for the first inductee. The final five are 8-year-old Melissa Goldblum, Game 3 of the 1969 Little League World Series in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. South Korea versus Taiwan. That was September 19th, 1969. Former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, who I believe is not able to be with us today.
So I thought I started driving down the road.
St. Louis Browns versus the Washington Senators, April 12th, 1947. Governor George Pataki was on the list from the Oriskany Falls T-Ball Park on August 6, 1996. Warren Spahn just barely made the vote with his 27-foot sinker ball that he threw at the All-Star game this year on September 9th, 2002. And the final nominee is a dark horse, but it's Sid Couchey. Couchey, is it Couchey? How do you pronounce it? Couchey? Couchey. Voulez-vous coucher, I think they call him. Sid Couchey, June 21st, 2002, Cleveland Indians at Montreal. So those are the final five.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. We're perhaps one jump ahead of most people because, continuing with the proclamation, the next whereas says that whereas at a recent and duly assembled meeting of the attendees of the infamous DNC, formerly the Do Nothing Club, now also to be known as Doubleday Country, North Country Club. Doubleday. Doubleday. Explain that to you later, Sid. There has been proposed a person by fortune and planning, one of the stalwart members of that club, to receive this prestigious award, he having on June 21, 2002, in the presence of thousands of fans, thrown in the first ball in the game between the Montreal Expos and Cleveland Indians. And whereas that person, Sidney H. Couchey, Down, 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 down. Sidney H. Couchey, known throughout the baseball world as having a smoking fastball, unhittable sinkers, spitball, and underhanded slider. Once an Indian of Cleveland and now a resident of Essex within the county of Essex, New York, was proposed and duly and unanimously elected as the first recipient of this honorable and prestigious award. Now, therefore, it be resolved that Sidney H. Tadpole Couchey be and he hereby is named as the recipient of the first Ball Pitchers Hall of Fame, and it is further resolved that there shall be established and maintained within the near proximity of Jim's Pretty Good Bookstore, formerly known as Jim's Pretty Good Grocery Store, an appropriate memorial site to display physical evidence of the bestowing of this prestigious award and other appropriate memorabilia. And it is further resolved that there be, and hereby are awarded to Sidney H. Tadpole Couchey, all of the rights and privileges of this award, and that his name be emblazoned upon an appropriate monument, thereby reserving unto our beloved friend and colleague a proper place in baseball posterity. And it's signed and witness whereof we have signed our hands and seals this 18th day of July 2002, signed by others, Jim Pretty Good Jim LaForest, Morris, Never Say Goodbye Glenn, Bill, Where's Ty's Donut Kassam, Wes, I used to be the supervisor, you know, Vanderhorst, Wayne Velvet Fog Bailey, Chuck the Enforcer Kratz, also Sergeant at Arms, and for those others who may wish to sign this proclamation. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, fans. Thank you.
At this present time, Mr. Couchey is overcome with emotion, so I'm going to continue on the program before we give him a few minutes of time. But as word of this ceremony spread throughout the nation, the globe, and into cyberspace, we started to receive many telegrams and emails regarding this auspicious occasion. And I'd like to read just a sample of them. Auspicious. Suspicious. But here's one. Congratulations, Sid. I am very pleased with your well-deserved honor, but I must honestly say that I never thought you would be enshrined before me. With kind regards to Ruth, Pete Rose. Dear Mr. Couchey, a complete and final review of your playing career reveals that you need to throw 2 more pitches to be eligible for a Major League Baseball pension, and at least one of them has to be a strike. Fraternally, Bud Selig, Commissioner, Major League Baseball. Here's an interesting one. Yo, bro, what's up? Sorry I can't be with you on your special day. Why, I can remember when you were working your way through the Negro Leagues. You know, for a white boy, you sure could pitch. Good luck, Satchel. Here's another one. Dear Mr. Couchey, please accept my congratulations on attaining such a lofty honor. I had planned on attending today's ceremony, but with the iffy weather, and I didn't figure that you would issue any rain checks in the event of a washout. And what a coincidence using the word washout on your special day as we discuss your pitching career. That was from Harry Schwartzberg, Chief Meteorologist. Here's from a stable of attorneys that have represented Mr. Couchey over the years. Please be advised that as a result of your being recently observed blowing a bazooka gum bubble, your $3.1 million annual commercial endorsement is being withdrawn. That's from Bill Durham, the CEO of the Red Man Chewing Tobacco Company. Another one. It is with sincere regret that I cannot be with you on such a special day, but prior commitments make it impossible. I remember when I was a teenager, you were my role model and sports hero. One question, though. What have you been doing since then? I have not heard mention of you up until now. That was from your old buddy Yogi Berra. And we only have a couple more, but Sid, here's greetings from a long time no see, no hear from friend. He's very proud to have learned of today's ceremony. ever since the $465,000 annual contract to play with us was tendered, I always knew you were successful. It's too bad that you didn't have enough money. We would have enjoyed your wit on our bench. And I'm really disappointed that a man of Mr. Morris Glenn's talking fame would have told me to shut up. We have one last one. You can't. And at this time, I'm going to turn the program over to our honoree, Mr. Sid Couchey, the first inductee into the First Pitch Baseball Hall of Fame. Mr. Couchey.
Thank you, fans. And isn't that appropriate? Isn't that appropriate? Because here approaches the sports department of the Press Republican. There's Mr. They couldn't. Whoa! What a thing to say. They couldn't find Waynesburg. we have Doug. We have Doug Sherwin. Come on over here and. We can repeat it. And Doug Sherwin on the left. He was at the game. You might have seen him in some pictures. And then with him, is the head of the sports department of Press Republican. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. He is, what the heck's his name again? Bob. Nice to see you guys. And you missed, this is the Honorable Judge Lewis, and you missed the proclamation of your lifetime. But we realize.
Let's do it all over again right from the beginning. Yeah, that's all we got time.
Well. This was the last thing I ever expected to be elected here today, but I just happened to have. Hand me that page of notes, will you?
I can't go.
Well, all right. Thank you, fans, and this is a very happy and emotional time, and. I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this ever since I was a lad of 74, and but this is the opportunity for me to make I realize this will be a definitive statement about my career, and this, and and I fashioned this statement as will, I'm sure, ring and reverberate all down through the halls of time. And here, fans, are the secrets of my great success. Immortal words that probably no other sports person has ever said. I come to play. I give 110%. I take them one day at a time. A game early in the season is just as important as the last game. I move good to my left. Unfortunately, the ball is usually coming to my right. I'm strong up the middle. I eat a lot. I show up at the ball field ahead of time. Let Ruth mow the lawn. My agent is Wayne the Enforcer Bailey, and I'm not sure whether that's good or bad. But in conclusion, I am the franchise. I take the team on my back and we go. Trouble is, I forget where it is we were supposed to go, and we didn't get anywhere. But anyway, if you reporters, I mean, you haven't seen or heard what's going on, but did you have anything you wanted to say? Bob? You chicken. Well, anyway. Okay, is there anybody else that's got a needle they want to work on? But I have one last thing. And, you know, these things that Calvin read weren't really actual nominees. I mean, up until me. But there is one that I want you to know, now that I'm in, there's somebody that deserves the same treatment, and I'm going to be a co-nominee with him, or recipient, and that is Bud Sweat. And it's legitimate because, first of all, he was a great ball player, and he played a lot of town ball, and he actually caught for what's his name, Johnny Padres, before he went big time. And Bud and I teamed up with Essex high school team in 1937 who were asked by St. John's of Plattsburgh, big school, I think champs the year before, to give them a tune-up spring game. And we had to pick up an 8th grader, Johnny Labarge, to make a full team. We went up and beat St. John's of Plattsburgh 2-1. And it was in your Press Republic and everything. But it's legitimate because he actually was invited to throw out the first pitch in Pittsburgh, and only by bizarre set of circumstances it didn't go through 100%. But he is deserving of it, and will be takers of this opportunity. Okay, bud? Anything you want to say?
All right.
I understand you gave him the map to the directions for the ball field in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, anybody else want to say anything? Oh, that's right. Oh, I do have here. Somebody hold that a minute. Yeah, this is traffic control. Here, Wayne. This, friends, this is it. That's it. That's the ball.
Oh. You couldn't show that little.
I'll hold it for you, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, this is it. I cleaned my cleats with this very stick. And it says, very
a
stick.
little bit of Americana.
Just throw the ball on it.
These are the ones.
You just open it up, it's already got a lot of
These are the ones. I couldn't see the signal very well, so I got.
Just
Throw
the ball. Wonderful.
Yes, throw the ball.
This is a batting.
Throw the ball.
My own daughter, knowing her father, was wondering how long it was going to take me to throw the ball. So she got to thinking before I got ready and actually threw the ball, maybe some batter had sneaked up. So she gave me a batting helmet in case I knocked the ball back down. But anyway.
And here's the very ball, right?
Right now. Oh, what a day.
Congratulations, Sid. It's been an honor to be here in your presence.
Yes.
This very formal presentation.
Okay.
How are you going to tip your cap like Williams finally did?
Well.
Did he finally tip his cap?
All right.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
One last tip. Before they. Before they.
Williams was playing ball today, he'd be getting $3 million a year. Probably hitting 250. But he's 88 years old.
He's not 88 anymore.
What happened?
When Ted Williams made a record getting $65,000 a year way back when, there was a cartoon in the paper about 2 days later, and it showed a guy coming into the room, and his son, he was reading a newspaper that had the Williams story on it, and his son was over in the corner practicing a piano, and he says, "Hey, kid, get off the piano and get out there and practice with the boys." 65,000 was a big wad in those days. But anyway, that's it, and appreciate your fan support. I can't tell you how much and all that stuff. And tip the hat, tip that. There it is.
And there you have it, the induction, the opening of the First Pitch Hall of Fame, and the induction ceremony. And the caterers are unable to be here, so so that's just how. Hopefully this is the end of the story here, a fitting end to this fantastic story. The First Pitch Hall of Fame in beautiful downtown Waylandsburg, New York, and appropriately so, the picture of the pitcher is up there, Mr. Sid Couchey. So that's going to wrap up this ongoing story. It's 3 months in the telling at the Baseball Hall of Fame First Pitch in Waylandsburg. Be sure to visit it. That's on Route 22. You just can't miss it here when you drive through Waylandsburg. So make it a stop on your summer vacation next year. Now thanks to Sid Couchey for
making this such a lively event.